welcome to the club with LC Day Trippers. In the studio tonight, it's Father Jack Casey Free Zone.
It is putting the fun back into the Trippers.
Ray Dickinson and Barry Donovan as debutant tonight. So we're going to get straight stuck into the Sheffield United game. Wasn't pretty, but it's 3 points. That's the main thing. Did the performance concern you, Ray?
I was thinking exactly that earlier today. Like, is this reason to be concerned, or was it just a kind of really kind of dogged professional job by a team that's destined to win the league this season? Yeah. And I am a little bit concerned, I have to say, and I'm a little bit concerned because, like, there's this whole thing, we haven't got out of third gear or anything like that, which gets thrown about. But I actually, with 2 tough games coming up, I am a little bit concerned about, like, Salah's form for one. Hang on. How did they just go? Hang on. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted because when I started that little sort of speak there, Arsenal had a corner and I turned round, United are winning 1-0 and Ole's going to be in a job for another month, so we're all happy with that. No, I am a little bit concerned. Salah's form concerns me a little bit. I think we are, like, we do seem a little bit leggy as well. I think we do seem a little bit leggy. I don't know, maybe it was just the result of a few tough enough games. The away game, like, we haven't been at home forever, have we?
No.
Like, we've got 2 home games coming up. Have we just had 4 consecutive away games, basically, between the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, and 2 away league games?
Good point, yeah.
So we've had 4 away games, or maybe that was kind of factored into it, and now we've got 2 home games, and maybe my mind will be completely turned around. I'm going to be lucky enough to go to the next 2 games at Anfield, so maybe this is just a fact that we've ground out these wins. But I am a little bit concerned. But then again, I'd kind of lean towards being a little bit pessimistic from time to time.
Yeah. You mentioned destined to win the league. those sort of goals, where it sneaks in, and funny enough, it's one of our first clean sheets in a long time as well. Like, these are the kind of percentages that win leagues, the kind of things that, I felt we had a good chance last year when you had so many goalkeeping errors leading to goals for us. They're the kind of things that happen when you're right up the top. The luck always goes your way. Gar, are we destined to win the league with stuff like that going on?
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? It was a really bad performance, wasn't it? Let's be honest here. The last one we got away with as well, even though Phil had a bit of an argument about it, but I think the last one we got away with slightly. This one was really bad. No one seemed to pass a ball right. It was awful to watch, in fairness. But they do say, and I was around a couple of Chelsea fans today, and they said that's how you win leagues. And if anyone knows, they know. Well, they should know.
Yeah.
I think you have to give, like, Sheffield United a bit of credit as well. I thought they played. They were maxed trying to basically stop the front three and stop Liverpool. From getting anything out of that game. They nearly did it, I think. But I think the one positive for me was we're still creating the chances, like the 2 Mane chances.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, it's not like we'd no chances, only that sneaky goal.
Yeah.
There was clear-cut chances.
On another day, Mane would have buried the 2 of them, I think. And
at least one.
Yeah.
And Salah should have scored his.
To put a bit more distance at the end, it would have made it 2-0.
But there was an interesting thing as well. Before we got that goal, we hadn't had a shot on target, and in the space of 2 or 3 minutes, I think we had like 3 or 4 shots on target. So basically, their heads kind of went. They were so concentrated on keeping us out, and they were doing a really good job. But as soon as we scored, their heads kind of just went, and we got in behind them a lot more. So I think we weren't great, but I think Sheffield United were pretty good, to be honest with you.
Yeah, on Sheffield United, they've been no pushovers this season. It's always hard playing the promoted teams away from home early on in the season, while they're sort of on that curve.
That ground as well, Bramall Lane in particular, is quite hostile. So.
I mean,
it has a touch of the Crystal Palace kind of thing about it. I noticed a lot of people referring to them being a low block team, or whatever, you went deep block team. But in fairness, they took the game to Liverpool. They got the ball forward. They ran it as they created their own few chances. It's unfair to just say that they sat back and defended everything.
I think we did call this out, didn't we, last week? And no one who I was listening to in the build up to this game was going to say it was going to be anything other than a pretty tough game. And pretty much everyone's view on that was kind of proven right on Saturday, because as you say, these promoted teams, particularly early in the season, they've still got everything to play for. And with that win the previous week, I think I mentioned last week on the pod, with that win the previous week against Everton, it was a bit of a free hit for them, and they kind of played that way. They had no fear. Yeah. It was a bit of a party atmosphere. The crowd were kind of really geeing up the players, and the players were feeding off that, and vice versa. And I think basically, they did. The manager was interviewed at the end and was disappointed that they didn't get anything out the game. I think that was a lot of down to the fact that we weren't on it. Like, we didn't go there and blitz teams like we can blitz teams, and we had basically the opportunity to score 4 goals because the other 3 chances were gilt-edged opportunities to score goals. So we could have got out there with a 3-0 or 4-0. It'd have been a completely different conversation. But as it was, we got a goal, and the nature of the goal, I guess, adds to the fact that people think we were lucky, and I suppose in one sense we were, especially when we just had it happen in midweek against Milton Keynes as well. You don't tend to see too many keeping errors, but to have 2 on the bounce like that. But the big change, like when I seen Origi coming on, you assume one of the front 3's going off. So when it was Henderson going off, it was like, hang on, what's going to be the setup here? What's going to be the shape? What's going to be the story here? And in fairness, I was like, Jesus, going for it with 4, and it just paid off, because Origi was such a threat down that left hand side. Salah did look more involved down the middle, and then he goes on to miss that chance. But that's as a result of being, getting in behind there. So the plan. Fair play, again, it's kind of that in-game management, and we come up trumps. We find a solution, don't we?
Yeah, it wasn't just I think most substitutes from Klopp would be like for likes, maintaining the same shape. So we've seen a shape change, and a player come on. Origi, we know how important he was last season, and such important goals, but his influence coming on.
It was just a stretch to Andy, wasn't it? Because you could see the trait. There was always numbers about them. The 2 centre midfielders off Sheffield United were always sitting. The shape was absolutely excellent. I know you touched on it about how well they did, and if you look back on the game, did they have any major chances where Adrian has come out with man the match? No, they haven't.
They just the one at the end.
Yeah, the one at the end. Yeah,
I don't know if it's got the yard dog and he missed that.
Yeah. He sent it over to Sheffield Wednesday's ground. Yeah. But no, in fairness, they didn't know. It wasn't a game where you turn around and go, Adrian was man the match.
No.
So it just shows we kept our shape quite well at times. But I have to say, their shape and how they defended was out of this world. And unfortunately, their keeper balls up. But as you say, Origi comes on, he stretches them a bit. He's pulling the centre halves out of there a bit. Gini's goal. He gets the opportunity because he's got so much space in the middle as well. In fairness, so the fact that we 4 up front at the time,
they couldn't handle
it's stretching them about. Yeah,
because they couldn't handle it. Because once with the 3 lads up there, they were like. They were keeping them out very well, but once Origi came on it, they couldn't handle it at all. He just totally stretched them, as you said.
It's unusual for Klopp as well, as Andy said. He usually goes like for like, so you're thinking, Mane's coming off,
or Firmino.
Salah's coming off, or Firmino's coming off. You go, Jesus.
Yeah,
that's the difference. I think because last season there was a couple of games where we drew, where you think we should have did that and gone for it to get the 3 points. You kind of feel like Klopp maybe has learned from that. He's like, right, we can't drop points here today. So he just went for it by putting Origi on to get that. And it paid off, obviously, in the end.
The weekend, the midfield wasn't our issue the weekend.
No.
It wasn't our issue because there's so many numbers in there. We were looking for someone to try and stretch a bit. You know, would have been, you know, Keita, you know, you could say
I see a
Keita or
lot of people,
Oxlade-Chamberlain or someone like that, someone to go at them with the ball. Fabinho tried to do it a few times as well, tried to bring the ball forward and stretch them.
That was my initial reaction when Henderson goes off, and I was thinking to myself, why didn't he just put Keita on in that situation? But obviously he had a plan, and the other factor in that, Firmino dropping deeper, like he just gets even more involved, and he's kind of linking up again. You know, like he's just such a player that he can adapt. You know, he can drop that bit deeper, and he's contributing still in that role. Like he's amazing. He really is amazing. He's so like his flexibility now in terms of being able to do that. Like he could call on that plan again if needed. Do you know what I mean? Klopp could call that's a great plan potentially now if we need to find a goal to turn a draw into a win. That whole thing of because we think about maybe Ox being that player, you know, or Keita sitting in that role that Firmino goes to sit in that situation. So that's another option for us now. It's just another option that teams then have to kind of try and adjust to. So, like, you know, providing that, like, Origi's important. Origi is really important to keep as part of this squad, I think, you know, in terms of giving us an option, either starting games in certain, you know, home games against weaker teams potentially, or bringing off on the bench against some stronger opposition when you want to go with your normal front three. He's definitely got a big role to play this season. You've got to keep him fit.
They definitely weren't expecting that either, Sheffield United. I don't think any plans they'd made. They weren't expecting to have, like, as you said, Klopp usually takes off one of the forwards for Origi. Yeah. There's no way they had planned for the four of them going at them like that towards the end of the game. Like,
no, definitely not. I think in those kind of games, it's important that somebody carries the ball, and I think Matip since last January has been doing this particularly well. We haven't been known to praise him, you know, Liverpool fans, but lately it's just, you know, he's Van Dijk levels of importance to us. What he's doing with the ball, and there was lots of kind of clips of him playing the ball into the forwards, because sometimes we lack that sort of service into them, you know, with the midfield, the way it kind of is, the dogged type of midfield. But Matip's contribution to with us on the ball, it should be spoken about, really, Gar.
You look, Andy, he didn't go left and right much. I know there's a couple of, you know, we saw a couple of snippets in some of the media over the weekend that he's going left and right with. But is that balls to just play into a centre midfielder or play into Firmino when he's dropped deep? Like, you know, a lot of centre halves won't do that. They'll always try and play it a bit safe, obviously, you know, in case it comes right back at them. Or you got Fabinho then who generally does that diagonal ball to the two full backs who've gone forward, or Salah or Mane when they're getting a bit of space out wide. But I have to say, and obviously Van Dijk plays a beautiful ball to Mane as well, which can't be forgotten. Yeah. Well, it was described on one of the channels as a lump forward, but you can clearly see he's looked up and he's spotted that he's made the run off the centre half.
Yeah, and he's played the ball with backspin and everything. It's
100%.
It's purely
it's on a play. Here's catch up with it as well. Like, but in fairness, as you say, Matip, it seemed to be he was the go-to for all them forward passes coming from centre halves the weekend. Yeah, because their two wide lads were trying to stop our wide attacks, obviously. Yeah, but it seemed he was the one that was starting everything from centre half, which is great, really.
Yeah. It's how we play. Some fans will never be happy with the midfield. They always, you know, demand something different in the middle of the park. But our creative players are fullbacks, and everybody gets involved in the attack. Everyone gets involved in defence. I mean, I remember Sacco being quite good at that as well, carrying the ball out and playing a ball that you're just calling for someone to do it. But Matt was really, really impressed me anyway. You know,
you'd always be nervy with Sacco doing it, wouldn't you? Yeah, because there was a couple of times he obviously slipped down and he fell.
Well, sometimes maybe they came into the player bouncing, or they were. Yeah.
I think Sacco will be great when he comes back off his loan anyway.
He'll slot back in there.
I think it'd be a big improvement.
Yeah, Stormy joke, nice one.
But the other aspect of Matip's game that I think's improved as well, though, is his ability to kind of make that recovery tackle. You know, like when you think like someone's kind of got into a really dangerous position, and he might be kind of just a little bit, half a yard behind. He seems to be able to recover and make the tackle and, you know, put it out for a throw in. Or like it's not spectacular.
Yeah.
But he's not getting himself. He's not kind of like compounding a situation, if you know what I mean. Like that, he'd be guilty of that a little bit in previous seasons. Do you know what I mean? Like a kind of a half error becomes a big error with him.
Yeah.
And I think he's improved in that aspect of his game massively.
Like I did a search on Twitter, my tag and Matip. You know, so I've come up with some fairly embarrassing stuff. Like it almost seems like it wasn't the same player. You know, a lot of criticism I gave him over his physical capabilities, how he is, and when he's up against is who he's marking.
Yeah,
he seemed to lose an awful lot of physical battles. I don't know whether at the time he was kind of in and out of the team with little knocks, but that's a really improved part of his game, Barry.
Yeah, it's a big factor. I think that he's obviously playing beside Van Dijk. That's like you know you're talking about when you were putting up those comments. He was probably playing with Lovren then, was he? Like so,
he had to be, yeah.
Yeah,
you know I think that's a big factor for it. And since he's been beside Van Dijk, he's just come on unbelievably. You could argue that he's definitely as good as Van Dijk, if not been better this season.
Yeah,
I'd say in some games he's been better than Van Dijk.
Great,
yeah.
If that was even possible to do.
Yeah, like Van Dijk's. Look, we can't say enough good things about Van Dijk. There isn't a single weakness in his game. He comes up trumps in every situation. But I just think it's how improved Matip is. It's how he's gone from a free transfer, you know, to...
He's keeping Gomez out of the team.
He's keeping Gomez out of the team.
He's the fella who's suffering, isn't he? Gomez will have to wait for probably an injury to someone before he starts getting minutes.
Unless he slots him right back. But look, I was thinking that obviously going to come up to the Salzburg game, but like if you're going to rest maybe one or two of the fullbacks and you put Gomez in, but I'm not sure that will happen. But I think that's his only chance of getting into the team now, because Matip is just playing way too good for him to be put in there. And as you said,
you never rotate your centre backs anyway. I think it's extremely important.
Generally, your back four, really.
Yeah.
I think you can make one. I think you can make one change. I think what Barry says about Wednesday, you can see can see a team sheet there with Gomez playing right back potentially, because then obviously we play Leicester on the Saturday, and you might want to give Trent a bit of a rest
or Robertson, just particularly because of they're two obviously the most creative players in the team, and they're pretty much going to be playing every game, so any chance you have to give them a break. And I just think, I thought Robertson, you were saying earlier about we looked a bit leggy. I thought of all the players, particularly at the Chelsea match, I was watching him, he was just like he just seemed off the pace, or it just seems like he might need a rest.
A couple of times a weekend as well, he played one ball. Him and Trent actually played balls inside that.
Yeah, he just got it's not like him to get caught out, but not Trent as well, but I think that will be something to look at if give Gomez. Well, like Milner could be good at left back, obviously, because I thought he done well against MK Dons, but
like with a stack of difficult games coming up, a stack of very important games, it's hard to see Klopp taking that opportunity to rest Robertson.
Yeah, I know that's the thing, but if there was anyone, I think the Leicester game is more important, obviously, than the Salzburg. I think we'd have enough in it if you were playing Milner left back or Gomez. I think they're still good enough to get past, Salzburg, and then it gives the two lads at full back a break. We'll see.
I think the draw against Salzburg wouldn't be a disastrous result. Obviously, you then got the head-to-heads. You got the two games against Genk. You've got to be looking to get 6 points from them. Yeah. I think if you're gonna take the risk on either Robertson and bringing Milner in, or Trent and bringing Gomez in, I think you do one of the two changes. Yeah. That's the game to do it. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't think you'll do two now, but one maybe.
Yeah, we'll look a bit closer to the Salzburg game in a little bit. So another player we're talking about, I think, from his performance was Fabinho. He's being described now as the best defensive midfielder by a lot of people in the league. I think he's not far off. He's not. I mean, he's not your conventional defensive midfielder. How he's kind of made that position his. When Henderson was playing there, he did screen the defence a lot, didn't really move out of number 6 position, but Fabinho, he picks up the ball everywhere, he gets involved in everything. I mean, he's absolutely quality, Ray.
I think he's the most important player on the pitch. I really do, because I don't think there's really anyone now who can come in and do the same job as him. In some respects, we've seen Adrian do a job in the absence of Alisson.
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to say if you need a game or two, you could probably get away with Gomez and Matip. I should have thought that Van Dijk has to miss any games.
Yeah.
But like what Fabinho's doing now is just like, it's like kind of, watching Arsenal now. It's like Patrick Vieira levels sort of thing.
I
Do you know what I
disagree with
mean?
you, right? I disagree with you.
Go on then.
I think we've got Chiravella when he eventually gets registered. You can see him there.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
Well, until Grujic comes back anyway.
Yeah. No, what he's doing is quite unique.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that can throw in a player and they can replicate the performance of the other player and kind of carry out their job. But I don't really see anyone else being able to do what Fabinho does. His decision making is excellent. How sharp he is, how proactive he is for a defensive midfielder, how he gets involved in all the action areas, and he's just.
Even going forward, he doesn't get enough, appreciation for that. I think some of his forward play is great as well. Just his all-round game is unbelievable, really, at the moment, especially.
Yeah.
He has this kind of cross-field, kind of little chip ball he does, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's done it a few times. He's got goals from it, like.
It's like Andy on the golf course.
Yeah. No, he's playing. Yeah, sometimes he's playing the sixth role really high up the pitch.
Yeah.
And you don't tend to get that from the conventional defensive midfielder. Like you look at other guys in the league like that recognised for being a six, like Jorginho or whatever. Like he's just not that.
Well, Fernandinho, obviously, last season or the season before, his positioning just seems to be on point all the time. He's
so involved, and I think it's important that he has Henderson and Wijnaldum around him because they're two very clever players in terms of covering that space.
Understanding as well, isn't it? Of knowing what the other two are going to be doing around you, if they're going to give you a bit of protection as well. And Henderson has played that role, so he's going to, he's going to understand when teams obviously play two forward-thinking players. He'll know to sit back that bit and get Gini higher and keep him obviously with the ball at his feet.
I've seen people refer to this three, Fabinho, Wijnaldum and Henderson, as the Brexit midfield. It's not the Brexit midfield.
No, I think
it's not at all. There's so much dynamism there.
What was it
was Milner.
No, I don't think Fabinho was ever. I don't think
Brexit midfield last season was Milner, Henderson and
Wijnaldum. Yeah.
I think people are just getting mixed up. Fabinho is part of the Brexit midfield.
Explain to me where that Brexit thing came from.
To me, to you, is it?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
it goes nowhere.
It's such a.
That's what it is, basically.
It's our own fans as well. That's the worst part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, we made it up. Yeah,
I mean, it's mad that it's mad.
It's obviously the Twitter fan base that's made that up, sort of thing.
The Brexit midfield. No, the midfield. The midfield is excellent. Like it's everything about how the team are performing.
Yeah.
It's given the wide players the chance to bomb forward. They're so good at covering.
And you can slot Oxlade-Chamberlain in there. I'm sure we'll be slotting Keita in there.
Yeah, as the
season goes on. I also love the fact that Henderson doesn't seem to have, he clearly has no issue with the fact that he gets dropped from game to game or that he gets taken off after 65 minutes. He's the club captain.
Yeah.
He's just lifted the European Cup.
Yeah.
And he's so comfortable in just operating as a kind of one of 4 or 5 players potentially who are gonna take us to the league.
Yeah, like that fucking that captain's armband is like past the parcel every game, isn't it?
Yeah,
3 people did it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's going around the whole team, but it just shows you there's no one player who's dictating he has to play.
Yeah, they've all accepted that that's their role.
Yeah.
That's going to happen sometimes. They have to sit it out or they could come off early.
And there's leaders all over the pitch, either leading by example or leading by just what they are, how Van Dijk is.
Fabinho could be a captain in any side. Van Dijk could be a captain in any side. Obviously, Henderson's our captain.
Yeah.
Klopp referenced Gini during the summer, didn't he?
Gini,
as one of the 4 go-to guys.
Yeah.
You could see Gini going to a club in 4 years' time and being a captain, definitely.
Does Robertson probably captain
Scotland?
Yeah. And I think if Trent being the local lad, another player that's going to be probably going to wear it at some stage. So
Adrian is the Spanish over 35s captain.
Yeah, another. Well, then just brings me on to Alisson, another player.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about players coming back, or players that haven't been involved so heavily so far that will have a big influence. Like, there is a fair stack of them. Like, you've Keita coming back now. He was good at patches in the what game?
MK Dons.
Yeah, he was good at patches. He's shown, what we started seeing last season in flashes.
He's probably all good bit off match fitness though. He came off after an hour, didn't he? In that game?
And it's noticeable he doesn't. He isn't that first substitute, isn't it? Really,
I'm sure
in a week's time he would be the first substitute.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, Origi came on. That was in probably a couple of months' time. He mightn't do that. He might just bring on. So he's obviously been extremely careful about how he brings Keita back into the team.
Well, I think he might start against Salzburg.
Hopefully so, because he's kind of like a confidence player, isn't he? He needs to get a good run of games for him to kind of run into form. I found that with him last season anyway.
Yeah.
And then obviously he got that injury. I thought, like, when he came off against Barca at the new camp, I thought he was the best player on the pitch, and he was just kind of getting to the peak of his performances.
His powers, yeah, definitely.
And then he got injured, and let's hope he can get back to that now this season. But I think he'll need to get a good run in the team to get back to that. He can't just be used as a bit part. And the midfielders that are in there at the moment, the three that were playing on Saturday, they're obviously pretty much, I'd say, Klopp's, first choice. Yeah. So far, you could see he'll definitely play a part, but will he play a big part? He could be just, like the way Oxlade-Chamberlain is at the moment, just coming on as a sub and impact sub.
Yeah.
So
it's all club as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all club. Yeah.
So I can see Naby playing on Wednesday, maybe again another 60-minute, kind of predetermined 60 minutes, and then bring on whoever it is who's been dropped, or maybe bring Oxlade-Chamberlain on, and then I think he'll go with his trusty three in midfield against Leicester, because they're going to be the toughest side I think that we faced this season. The biggest threat, and they're obviously in a decent run of form at the moment.
Yeah, so as long as Keita stays fit, I think we're all fairly in agreement that he's going to have a massive impact in that midfield.
He'll win. He'll make enough appearances for his medal, defo.
Yeah,
that's my.
Will Adrian though? That's the question. If Alisson gets back, he'll only in the next game or two. I think how many games he played? 8, 7.
He's played 7 if you include his substitute appearance. That'll count. So 7. Yeah, he's played in all 7 wins. So what?
I'm sure if we have the league wrapped up,
I think it's quite low. Is it?
I thought it was 9,
10
isn't it?
Maybe
10. I think it is.
Okay.
So he'll get 8 in, and then.
So if we have the league wrapped up in April, I'm sure Klopp will give him a couple of games to make up the numbers. So another player, Ox. Yeah. He just doesn't seem himself.
Yeah,
but again,
speaking of confidence, like with Katie, he just seems totally short of confidence. Against MK Dons, he was just like coming off the pitch, especially. He was just so
he was
pissed off with himself.
He was gutted with himself,
and he nearly deserved the goal. Like he had that shot, he hit the post, wasn't it? Like, so I thought he did all right. He just seemed every ball he was playing just wasn't working out for him. And I just thought some of the youngsters kind of showed him up and showed Lallana up as well. So he's probably just pissed off at himself because of that. But yeah, I think he's just really short of confidence at the moment because he's just struggling to get back to any sort of form after the.
Yeah, I think to be fair, he has to kind of write this season off in terms of being a consistent performer to the levels he was 2 seasons ago, where he was so influential, he was so important. Then the injury came. He just needs to make sure that he's contributing this season, that he's playing, he stays fit. So yeah, I mean, Ox gets a boy all season. You know what I mean?
26 now, though, isn't it? It's like he's 26. So if we do write this season off, he comes back as a 27-year-old. In August, he's got. I suppose he's got 2 or 3 years then, hasn't he? Really, in his prime, I suppose. So.
I think he still has. I think he'll come quicker than you think. Like this season, I just think maybe up to Christmas, maybe it'll come back from. But it depends on how much kind of game time he gets again. Like Klopp just seems to be using him obviously as a kind of an impact sub at the moment.
Well, it was only really after Christmas a couple of seasons ago when he stamped his, his first season at the club as well, wasn't it?
So he just needs a goal against Man City again, and that'll kickstart the season.
Yeah,
a thunderbolt at Anfield in November.
He nearly that goal the shot against MK Dons was a great one. Like he was just so unlucky with that. Like he didn't get that because that gave him a lot of confidence then going forward. Obviously,
yeah, absolutely. Right, so
do we even mention the keeper? Or is it just a given he's going to come back and be the world's best again?
Yeah, well, everyone.
To be worried
He's got to
about
be a good number 2, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on that last week, right? Like if he's if Adrian's on any other team and the first team goalkeeper comes back, he doesn't automatically walk back into the team.
There's a conversation.
But because we're looking at the best goalkeeper in the world coming back from injury, I don't know how close is he. He was outside training, going back about 4 weeks now, and I thought like he was the way he was moving. He looked very cautious. Like he can't have come on that far in 4 weeks.
I still think there's another month. I could be wrong, but just from what I've seen in clips and stuff, doesn't look overly confident in his movement, does he?
Yeah.
Well, what was the original? It was like 6-7 weeks, wasn't it?
There was being
very sketchy.
Yeah, they never really kind of committed and gave it time.
No, and at that time, obviously, we didn't know what we were going to get out of Adrian. But I think they shouldn't. I think they've seen enough from Adrian to not think, shit, we need to rush this fella back. You know, we need to rush Alisson back because there's still a lot of. Even if he doesn't come back until just before the City game, as an example, like there's still a lot of football to be played. Yeah, you know, and I know when we come back from the international break, are we straight into United? Are we? Yeah. So you know. I suppose people want to see him back for that, but like if he's not right, then we shouldn't be rushing him. Adrian's not going to be going on international duty, so well, unless the over 35s.
25, yeah. They have a game against Stanaway Park this weekend.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, don't rush him back would be my thing.
Offside.
So anyone else? We had a few youngsters in the League Cup game.
Yeah.
Any of them think they've impact on the season?
The only fellow who, like we were talking about potential injuries and whatnot. I guess if something did, if we did need to run someone out, maybe Hoover.
Yeah, he looks like he'd be ready for that.
He looks good, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But look, where would he go in? Like right or left back? And then it's going to be Gomez is going to go in there first, isn't he? And unless we got really stuck with injuries.
It depends, like if you got 2 injuries at the same time, like maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe around Christmas time or whatever. What's he given? I think he's given a goal.
Yes.
Yeah,
so it's a VAR reversal of an offside.
Yes.
And a mad celebration now for the Arsenal. Wow. This is just proving that VAR really is just about offside, isn't it?
Yeah. I think when you look at the likes of Hoover playing or Elliott, they don't look like kids. They just look like so mature.
Elliott just looks so cocky on the ball, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks like he's got so much confidence. But what impressed me about him was his hard work.
Yeah.
He was willing to get stuck in. He wasn't just, it was work off the ball as well that impressed me about him. He could be a little wild card during the season.
Yeah, definitely. I was expecting more from Brewster. He was very quiet.
Yeah, I thought he was quiet,
Yeah, Brewster's one we built up, and I mean Klopp built him up as well. So we kind of expected. So we might say as it goes on.
What about Shaqiri? Do you think he's going to get a look in? Cause
that's a good one to talk about.
He's the fella who could just find himself the odd man out very quickly. You know what I mean? It's not happening, is it?
Reckon he goes in January.
But just seeing something obviously happen with Klopp, where he just doesn't fancy him anymore, because it happened last season where he just was doing well for us and he was coming on and making an impact, and then he just kind of bombed them out, didn't he? He didn't really get.
I thought it was a City game. As soon as he got dropped, he had a good run of form up to that game. Remember the game we lost? He had a great run of form with that game. As soon as he got dropped for that game, and he came in games after, under Shaqiri getting his own head, I'm not trusted here.
But do you remember, like on the start of last season, the Southampton game, he was like he was great in the first half at home, and then he whipped them off at half time, and like that's really unusual unless the player's done something really wrong, and I did in that game. So maybe it's to do with his attitude, because I think in that game Henderson was given out to him about probably tracking back because he wouldn't be as disciplined in the field role. So I think possibly maybe Klopp just doesn't trust him in that, like, because I think he can only play he's not going to play him in midfield because he wouldn't trust him. But I'd say the 3 he could, but yeah, I don't know, it's hard to see him get in there because Klopp doesn't seem to really give him a chance.
He's played for, he's had a lot of big clubs, and he's never really established himself. It's probably no coincidence. I think Klopp said at the time it was too good of an opportunity not to buy him as a squad player. He certainly doesn't measure up to the Klopp type of player. He's not going to do the work and the jobs that all these players, but certainly if you need an attacking option, he's there.
But you know the funny thing is, right, he cost us 12 million quid. You say he went at the end of the season, we probably recouped the money as a minimum. Yeah. And he actually did make some contributions. You got to remember, he put a ball over there in the European Cup semi-final at Anfield. Like that by itself, without that contribution, we may not now be European champions.
Great ball over the United game last season at Anfield as well.
Yeah.
He came on, and then didn't he take the free for that Origi header in the league against Newcastle at St James's Park?
He did, yeah. So, like, in terms of squeezing some value out of that investment, I think we've had a return already. Like if he goes, he goes. I just feel like there's got to be something fundamentally wrong, either from a fitness point of view or from a mentality point of view, from not to be, getting minutes as soon as he's available. He's just not.
Didn't he come out and say when he was on international duty he was a bit pissed off for not getting run out? I don't think he said it in so many words. But he just kind of said obviously he's not happy. He's not getting.
But he even withdrew from the Switzerland squad, didn't he? Against Ireland, he didn't make himself available.
He got his knickers in a knot because he wasn't captain.
Yeah, but then again, that shows a certain element of his mentality. You know what I mean? Like he's being moved on from clubs, top clubs. There's a certain telltale sign in all of what he's done throughout his career. I just think he flatters to he flatters to deceive sort of thing.
He could still play a part though. Like he has it in him to come on and change a game without a shadow of a doubt. So hopefully, because I like him as a player. I think he's done well, as you said.
He's a very likeable fella.
So it'd be nice to see him come on and do something this season if he gets the chance.
He's just going to seems to be in that third bracket, I suppose, in our team. Like you've got your first 11, which is pretty much picking itself at the moment, and then you've got your couple of players who come into the midfield who be considered like second tier. They're playing every other game kind of thing, and then you've got the likes of Shaqiri and Origi. They have to, manage their expectations and take their chances when they come on.
Kids pressing for places now. We're not pressing for first team places, but
well, particularly after that,
impact places if you want to call them that.
I think for the League Cup game, the Arsenal, if we don't get thrown out of it,
be a really liberal thing to do, that, won't it?
If they like in that game, if you do stay now, I think the players that played against MK Dons, particularly the younger players, deserve to keep their place and play rather than Shaqiri or Origi coming in. But I suppose Origi probably will come back into that team, or maybe Shaqiri. But I'd like to see definitely Elliott and Jones, because I think they deserve it after the.
They 100% did, and I think Arsenal do the same anyway. They're not going to go and play their strongest 11. They
did the same the last round, didn't they? So you didn't expect them to.
They'll always play their kids as well. Alright, so just let's look at the Salzburg game in more detail. Anyone watching Salzburg?
I'm just going to do a quick Google. They won the first game. 8-9, 10-0. I don't know what it was, but they.
Alvin Haaland's son got a hat trick.
I thought that's right. Yeah, Alvin Haaland's son. Yeah.
Van Dijk will have him in his pocket.
I know nothing about them.
Is Roy Keane and how commentary that night, Ben?
How did it?
No, when everybody looked at the group, like they would have thought, okay, our 4 seeds there, Napoli are a difficult team, but they would have seen the other two as whipping boys. But it's not going to be the case.
They're a bit of a wild card, basically, aren't they? Like this.
Well, I think it's hard to judge, though, isn't it? Because of we don't know how good Salzburg are, because we presume Genk are pretty shy. So I think it's hard to judge.
Genk are 7th in their division, for whatever that's worth. So 7th in the Belgian First Division doesn't sound very good. Genk,
no,
does it?
No, I wouldn't imagine that's too good.
And where is Salzburg in the Bundesliga? Where are they? like they're playing in the Austrian league, and I can't even, like, on my Sky Sports app here, they don't even have the fucking Austrian league in there. So what's that all about? How are you supposed to find out the result?
I don't know.
I don't know how long I have to have a deeper dive into some kind of random
Right, well,
website.
I mean, if you
What's
can't...
the Austrian league called? No one knows, dude. I'm going to have to look that up. Go on.
It's the Austrian Bundesliga.
Is it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're top with 5 points.
Are they, yeah?
Like ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, look, I mean...
Champions elect.
Because we've lost the first game, it makes it fairly big. Like, you know, it makes... I don't know, if we draw this game, we're kind of in trouble.
On the game though, like again, like
Right, you mentioned it being a draw.
I didn't know. All I said was it wouldn't be a disaster. Like, the group isn't over if we draw against Salzburg on Wednesday.
Right.
With that said, I'm not fucking going over there for a draw to see a draw. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if we look at the 2 games coming up, we're going to probably see 3 changes on Wednesday. Yeah, and then back to the same team that played on next Saturday. So what are the 3 changes? Gomez for who?
Trent.
Yeah, I think he comes in right full.
I do.
I
Yeah.
even think Robertson though. I was thinking out of the 2 of the full backs, I just think Robertson's the one that needs to rest more. Maybe I don't know what to do with form or whether he was tired. And I thought Milner was MK Dons. He was running the show, but I just thought a left back against them, he was pretty good. But obviously, this is different opponents.
He's not going to put Arucci in there. He's back fit, isn't he? But
No, he won't.
I think his 3 changes would be Gomez at right back.
Right, so one in defence.
Yeah, one in midfield, Keita. I don't know who he's going to come in for, but I don't know, maybe Wijnaldum.
Yeah.
And Origi for one of the front 3. They would be my prediction. Wouldn't necessarily be my front my.
And that's not gonna weaken us too much. You've got to have you know, Mane.
Origi would go in for.
Probably Mane more likely, would he?
I don't know. I'd be inclined to give Salah a bit of a.
Or Firmino.
Or Firmino, maybe.
Salah's not happy because the Egypt FA put his name in caps, didn't he?
What?
And he lost out on Player of the Year because his voting slip had capital letters on it. That's the rumour.
Yeah.
Is it? God bless us.
Yeah,
I think Salah gets rested.
Well, he always takes usually Mane off before Salah.
I know he does. Yeah.
So.
And Mane was nursing an injury there, wasn't he, prior to the Sheffield United game?
I would see Mane being more likely. He never seems to rest Salah.
I know he doesn't.
And Salah plays 90 minutes most games. He seems to be that sort of Messi type that doesn't get injured until this season. Messi's injured, but he's the type that just seems to want to play every 90 and looks disappointed to come off. So predictions then for Salzburg scoreline.
I was just looking at Salzburg. They won 4-1 at the weekend at home to Austria Vienna. And they had 27 shots. So
it's impressive.
Did your man score
10
again?
shots on target.
Alfie Harris.
No, he didn't know.
No, he didn't know. Completely different scorers. So I'm going to say a 3-2 victory to Liverpool. I think it's going to be a mad game.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. 3-2.
I'm going 3-1.
3-1.
Liverpool.
Barry?
3-0.
3-0. Clean sheet. I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I'm predicting the MK Dons game all over again. Like, I really don't know.
They've won 8 out of 9 games in the league and drawn 1.
Austria, all right.
In Austria, yeah. Goal difference plus 31. Scored 40 goals in 9 games. It's not bad. They're averaging more than 4 a game.
They won't be afraid to have a pop.
And
They won't be afraid to have a pop.
Few against, what was the final score? Did he score 5 or 6 in the end against Genk? 5 or 6, wasn't it?
Well, look, you got to hope you come up against an attacking team that take the game to us at Anfield. We can get in behind them and hopefully our front 3 click and take our chances. So at the weekend then, of course, we have...
another free scoring team.
Yeah. The return of Brendan, third best manager in the league.
Official now? Did your vote is your vote closed?
I think the vote's closed, so I'll have a look.
What's the result?
Well, I'm going to have a look now to get the official. But yeah, it's a bad time to play Leicester. Last year it was the game that probably if you picked any, it was the one that kind of lost us the league.
Yeah.
It was the one that on the run in. Yeah, it was a horrendous experience. It was so cold.
Frozen solid to the seat after 90 minutes.
Yeah, nobody could move. It was. Look, in fairness, that's been a close enough poll. I don't know whether a lot of the yes votes are probably on the wind-up. I mean, I don't think he's the third best personally.
Was
but
it closer than Brexit?
I mean, yeah, it'd be enough to push Brexit through. Like, it was 53% said no. I mean, that's very small margins there. People are really starting to buy into the whole Rodgers thing again. So it's not going to be easy. Like,
who is the third best manager then? If it's not the Brodge,
in my opinion,
yeah,
Poch.
Okay.
I mean, he's done so much in the league. Like, people, other arguments people came across where Emery, who's not, I don't think he's done much in the league to, you know, he's obviously been class abroad.
Yeah.
But in the league, he hasn't. He's not failed at Arsenal, but he's certainly not taking them on too far. Pellegrini was mentioned, doing a similar job. West Ham. I think Rodgers is building something a bit more long term. Myself. Who else was mentioned? Howe. And then a couple of the other managers. I don't know.
He's inherited a decent squad. He's inherited, you know, some of the players, you know, the likes of Vardy and whatnot, who've hung around from the title win. You know, Schmeichel, Vardy.
Only two from the title win.
Is it literally them two, was it?
Started the weekend.
Yeah. And I suppose there's probably a few players on the peripheral. Well, Albrighton was around as well, wasn't he? Did he come on as a sub, did he, at the weekend?
No, I just heard this morning that only two were there.
There's still a few players there knocking about. And then some of the players that they brought in recently, like, I really like that Tielemans.
Yeah,
he's a decent player.
Yeah,
he was a lot of money, wasn't he? 40 million or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, they're a threat. They're going to be a real handful on Saturday, and if that Salzburg game does turn into a bit of a mad one, you know, if it is a kind of a 3-2 or a 3-3 or a 4-3, you know, Leicester have got the week off to put the feet
they'd be fully rested and
plan, you know, come to Anfield with a game plan. I'm quite. I wouldn't be shocked if we dropped our first points of the season on. Saturday.
And I think
Vardy likes playing us as well.
He does, and I think
he's in form now at the moment, big time as well. So, but
and Rodgers' ego will love this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit of a free hit for most teams coming to Anfield anyway, but he'll have thoughts about this.
Thoughts, dreams.
Yeah.
I still think though as well that, like, the result he got at the weekend against Newcastle, like, everyone's going mad about that obviously, but it's Newcastle and they had 10 men and
it's Steve Bruce.
Yeah, so like I wouldn't be getting too carried away about that. And they lost to United at Old Trafford, didn't they? So
yeah,
you know, that's
he'll probably be at Anfield on Wednesday, won't he? Scouting.
Yeah.
Wonderful human being.
Yeah, wonderful technician. Why didn't he buy Lallana? I mean, he's got lots of money there. He could have just bought Lallana, couldn't he?
Couldn't use it. He only got it in the last hour, didn't he?
Yeah. But I was sure we would have taken it with 20 minutes to go. So yeah, I mean,
how much of a low ball offer would you have taken for Lallana with 10 minutes to go?
I think like low enough, you know.
5 million.
Yeah.
It's worried about Fabinho's fitness because Lallana has to go into that position.
Yeah,
Doesn't he?
the 6.
Yeah.
It's become a bit of a comedy, the whole Lallana 6 thing. But you never know, he could come on.
All because he's against Tranmere in this
yeah.
sixer.
Yeah. But you know, I'm concerned not just because they're doing well this season, but because I watched it last year, and I think they just seem to have the measure of us. Their players, they seem to cause us problems. They weren't afraid to, you know, take the game to us. And you know, if you are anyway concerned about our recent last couple of games, you know, it could be a tricky one.
It is going to be tricky. Who was City playing at the weekend? Are they playing anyone half decent?
No, I think we've got a really tough run of games coming up, and City are just going to be knocking everyone out of the park.
I mean, so we've got, obviously, after the international break, we've got to go to Old Trafford then, is it? Yeah, okay.
Then we've
Spurs. And Villa away.
Yeah, and then City's not too far after that.
Not too far after. Might even be the next game after that. I mean, if we can somehow negotiate these next few games and play City with a 5-point gap, I think it would be.
That'd be great.
It would be unreal, to be honest with you, given the opposition we've got, on the horizon. So, I don't know. I mean, every time we keep doubting them, they keep finding a way to win a game, don't they? You know what I mean? Like, we're already 7 games in, and we've managed to find a way to win all 7 of them. Yeah. From the first game blitzing Norwich in the first half, and then not being great in the second half, to finding a way to beat Chelsea with a bit of assistance from VAR, to a goalkeeper mistake.
Leicester will come out and play, though. Leicester aren't going to be like the last 2 games. They're going to come out and play. They're going to be open. So
they were woeful at Old Trafford,
and we're due. Like, front three are definitely.
Look, it's going to be good. It's going to be good to be playing at home again as well. As say, it didn't even occur to me we played 4 away games in the bounce. It is tougher on the players to travel away from home and put up with the away crowd and everything else. So be back in front of their own fans.
You're throwing a trip away in Italy, you're throwing a trip down to London in the equation, a midweek trip down to basically London again. Like, it's not like we've been playing on our doorstep either, you know what I mean? Yeah. We've been having to go on proper away. So, 2 home games in a week. I'd say the crowd against Salzburg will be buzzing, because obviously it's the first home game, Champions League, since we won the European Cup. For fellas like me who didn't manage to get, a ticket for that game, this is kind of our bit of a chance to celebrate, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then obviously Leicester is it's a traditional 3:00 Saturday game that you can really get up for, you know what I mean? Just have your little routine of going for a pint or 2, and then
you're looking forward to it, aren't you?
I am really looking forward to it, I'm really looking forward to both of them, I am. Because, probably my last chance for a few months, in all honesty, based on a new arrival due soon. So, I'm really looking forward to going to these games. 100%.
Right, so we do some predictions for Leicester.
Yeah.
Take it away, right?
I'm going to say... I hate predicting this, but I'm going to predict the first drop point of the season, 2-2. 2-2.
You get about 20-1 for that?
Maybe, yeah. I know. Right. Shocking, isn't it?
I'm shocked.
It is shocking.
I've never predicted anything but a win.
Can't believe.
I know.
Ray's not on here next week, is he?
No.
Fucking bar.
Shouldn't be invited back.
Right, Gar, lift us here.
Phil's back.
Phil's here on his own next week. Yeah. All the Phils.
Phil's here talking Chicago Bears.
Phil's going to be here next week on his own, hosting, contributing, and doing the decks.
He'd love all that.
Yeah. Phil 1, 2, and 3. Right, Gar.
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1. Bar.
2-0 Liverpool.
Clean sheet. Yes.
Barry's just clean sheet mad. Salzburg off the back of 4, Leicester off the back of 5.
We're at home, 2 home games, why not?
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Poor Barry when he brings women home from nightclubs. You take her makeup off.
Right. I don't know. Liverpool win, obviously. I'm going to go 3-1.
Yeah. They might just push them aside.
Yeah.
Who am I to know what's actually going to happen? Because so far, I would never have said we'd be 7 from 7 now. So, what do I know? What do a lot of us know? What do most people know on Twitter? Because based on what I read, no one knows. No one knows an awful lot. You know what I mean? But who does City play then? I'm just looking at this now. Do they play before us? After us? They play after us. Wolves are home. I mean, Wolves are home. They dropped points against Wolves last season, didn't they? Away.
Well,
yeah. But this is a bogey Wolves team that we're seeing now, isn't it?
Not great now, already.
No.
No.
I mean, if they go a goal or 2 goals down early doors, like
And they're in the
seems to
Europa League,
happen.
aren't they, this week?
Yeah, that's why the game's on Sunday. Then,
They haven't really played well after Europa League, I don't think.
And they lost the first. I think they lost the first Europa League game as well, didn't they? Or did they draw it? They certainly didn't win the first Europa League game. They've fallen off a cliff between them and Watford. Fuck, it's pretty. But the mad thing is now you look at the fixtures and like that's all you kind of look at. I'm looking at the other games like Newcastle United, so what? Southampton, Chelsea, so what?
City Sunday afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, Brighton, Tottenham, kind of so what?
Yeah, no. Well, everything is so what unless it's us, isn't it? Really, at the moment, us and City.
Unless it's us and City.
Yeah.
I honestly thought on Saturday that the Ev were going to do us a big favour there.
No, it was.
You never seen it happening, even at 1-1.
No,
I thought the crowd did, fair play. Like if they were putting on a bit of a performance there, and they were,
Little Hans Pickford couldn't even get the free kick.
Oh,
no.
Fucking hell, what was he doing for
it was
that?
a shy free kick. It wasn't even.
Yeah. I don't know what is it about these goalkeepers that go and make an attempt to flick the ball. Why wouldn't you just keep your hand out? You don't flick at the ball and then miss it.
Because his hands aren't big enough to make it.
What was he trying to do? Get extra length out? Anyway, look, they were never going to do us a favour. I seen footage of it.
I was fooled into it. Though.
No.
I really was.
Did you see the fan just dropping the season ticket off? He wasn't going in.
Before the game?
Yeah.
The Evertonian?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He wasn't going in. He wanted Everton to lose. He hates Liverpool and it was something to do with
Where was that?
outside Goodison. And he said that they even painted LFC in his dog years ago.
Who did?
This fella hates Liverpool so much. You know that
Was that not the year before that video, the game before? Was it not last season or?
no, it came up and he says he wasn't. Oh, it could have been because last year he wanted to get beaten by City as well.
Okay.
They definitely did because it was more important. Then,
Oh yeah, it was much later in the season. Like they
Yeah.
were shitting it at that point.
Yeah.
They were shitting it at that point. Everyone sell half season tickets, so
Yeah.
it's not a big deal if you hand your season ticket over at 6-7 week. Exactly. Someone can buy it. It's a Christmas present sorted. It's on the line, isn't it? Just buy the old half season ticket.
Yeah.
They had the adverts on the radio and everything leading up to Christmas. It's fucking brilliant.
It's it's a gift that keeps giving, really.
It is, but it is
Every summer, they come up with some way that they're now coming, taking over Liverpool. If it's not the new stadium, they're spending more money. I don't know.
they're playing Burnley away at the weekend, and if they lose that,
Silva has to be gone.
they're slipping towards the bottom 3.
Simeone's in then, isn't he? He was the last.
Yeah.
The last link, was he?
You just wonder who they go for next.
Ollie.
Yeah. Who's going to be the first manager sacked? I mean,
Moyes is for Chris.
I know we've
Wilder
had
was
someone
favourite
sacked, but
Moyes.
the next manager sacked. Who do you think? Could be him, couldn't it?
Silva?
Yeah. Do you think Wolves hang on to their manager?
I'd say he'd be mad.
Yeah, I think he gets a lease of life, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. It'd have to be Silva, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Silva, I think.
or Solskjaer, but I think they're going to give him a bit of time. Like.
Steve Bruce. I mean, another fucking shit show at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean you couldn't be happier for them really. What it would have been the treatment of Rafa, and it's great. Fuck them.
I mean, Newcastle are just, I don't know, they're just in a pit of misery. Imagine if Phil was a Newcastle fan. Jeez, that'd be some podcast, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anything else to talk about?
I guess you were mentioning it before the show. We haven't really the flow of the podcast hasn't really got onto it, but the whole kind of incident around Bernardo Silva and the races. These things tend to come up, don't they? It's kind of almost like every 6-7 weeks something comes out there. Someone does something completely stupid and unnecessarily, usually on social media.
Yeah.
and then it just all fucking blows out of all proportion, really.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
it's probably not for us to discuss whether it's racist or not, because I mean we don't know. We haven't experienced racism, but there's been lots of people like Sterling, like Barnes, who spoke about it in detail. They've been advocates for kick it out and
Poster boys, really, in some respects.
Yeah, I mean,
in
they-
terms of putting themselves out there. Clark Carlisle used to be,
Yeah.
quite vocal, but like,
But it's this, the conversation is the same every time. Like, is it racist? Was it racist? Was it intended? And I think like 99.99% of people out there are well in behind kicking racism out of football and everything else. And for some reason, every time this conversation starts, people are ganging up on other people and their views. You know what I mean? Just because you don't think it was racist, that means you're a racist. I mean, Bernardo's made a massive mistake.
Yeah.
We've seen enough now to know that you don't put that out there.
Yeah.
If they thought it was banter and they do it in the dressing room, that's their business between them.
yeah,
And whether it's accepted. But what it's doing is it's giving racists out there an opportunity online to get on board with it again. Like, the stuff with Pogba is only kind of blown over. I think players just need to be more conscious of it.
If that comparison's going around the City team bus and they're having a bit of a laugh about it and whatnot, and it's within a private circle, and then if Sterling as one of their teammates wants to take exception to it, and then so be it. But why you feel the need to throw this thing out on Twitter, which is kind of the
It's bizarre.
place,
Like,
worst place in the world that you could put something out like that.
Where was the benefit of that joke to go global? Like, what
I know.
you
Because the one thing about Twitter is, like, you say about the thing, Bernardo Silva is from a different culture and background, and quite often a lot of these incidents happen because in certain countries still it's acceptable to say certain things that it's not acceptable to say, certainly in places like the UK and Ireland. So when you put something like that out on Twitter, which is basically global, like you're you can there could be even stuff now that we would put out and we would think would be acceptable, and would offend people.
You're asking for it, though, aren't
in
you?
different countries.
You're asking
You
for
know what
it,
I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like it's just really, it's brain dead stuff. But then obviously Pep comes out and doubles down on it, the whole thing, and then Sterling gets wheeled out. City
have handled it poorly. I think if this was Liverpool, like, it'd be bigger news. It'd be bigger. The backlash City have got off very lightly for the handling of it. They should have really. Obviously, they want to defend their player, but they should have said, "Look, Bernardo's made a mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't appropriate.
Yeah.
In hindsight, and get him to apologise and whatever." And Sterling's interview was very, very
Cringy, wasn't
cringy.
it? I didn't see it.
Where was that? Where was the interview?
After the game.
I think Sky, was it?
Score,
Yeah.
Score, yeah.
I think it's you'll find it's a 2-minute and 20-second clip. Sterling's talking for about 2 minutes of that, and he's just sort of saying the same thing over and over again, and he's trying to work out some way of defending his teammate.
It's almost like he's a prompter in front of him, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's clearly just nervously talking about it. You can tell that he completely he completely disagrees with what Bernardo did, but he's somehow trying to justify it by talking and talking and talking. The way to handle that there would have been, look, Bernardo's made a mistake. He didn't realise how inherently racist that is. He doesn't understand the damage and the offence that's caused, and then put it to bed.
Yeah. I think the only thing that's certain is that, again, as I said earlier, there'll be another brain dead scenario in another 6 or 7
I just
weeks,
thought,
and we'll see Johnny Barnes out again.
Yeah.
It's the kind of way it always seems to go down.
Barnes, for me, previous to this, has always been kind of my gauge for it. I mean, I don't understand these things, personally, you know what I mean? It's but Barnes has spoken so well about it, so eloquently, and
Look,
created a huge understanding.
He was the centre of some really vicious,
Yeah.
racism back in the late 80s, 90s. He really was.
Yeah.
From some of his own fans. I don't mean Liverpool fans. I mean England fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he used to get a torrid time playing for England. It was ridiculous. And I think part of it was because he was a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a racist element to it. As well.
Yeah. No, he's talked about other things of discrimination, like the homosexuality thing as well. When he was in the Big Brother house, he mentioned something and it got totally blown out of proportion. But when he came out of the house and he got to speak in detail how it was, the cameras only showed a portion of the conversation, he spoke so well about it. So yeah, it was surprising to hear Barnes talk about it the way he did. It was like he was kind of defending it me.
I'd say he's never met Bernardo.
Yeah, but it was kind of that.
Yeah.
Had that vibe to it. But yeah, players just need to be smarter. They're not the smartest individuals in the world. It just seems like every week there's another incident. You only look at what happened at Derby. I mean,
my word!
What is the story, lads? Like,
I know. Oh my word!
They just
Kyo's out for 15 months or something, isn't he?
Kyo's out forever.
His contract is up in that time. And he's got 33, not a chance. Like he was the captain as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. Like that's just that really is brain dead stuff. Really, the three.
You won't even get a job in Withers, to be honest, after that.
The bar bill will be cheaper than £3,000.
£3,000.
Yeah.
My God.
I think that was the whole team, though, wasn't it? They were out for
They were out for a team bonding.
A team bonding thing. So
that's
they were
team bonding going back.
There was supposed to be a kind of a cap on the night, and cars were organised.
Arranged.
Yeah, and they turned it down.
And the lads obviously just
they were on it big time.
Just used it as an excuse to go on the rip.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So they're role models, footballers, but they just don't have the brain capacity to carry that role in a lot of cases.
I think people thinking they're invincible. Like I've been out on like team bonding sessions, team dues and whatnot, and then I'll go home at a certain time, but then stayed out later. But like you get your taxi and what, you know what I mean? Like you get your taxi and you go home.
Yeah.
Like, but there's certain elements. I think just they just think they're invincible and. And obviously they made a massive mistake.
Yeah,
the only
big time.
The only stroke of luck was that they only hurt themselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's the only thing.
Yeah.
Madness.
Right, we'll leave it there. I think. Thanks to Gar and the Decks, Barry the debutante tonight, Ray Dickinson and myself and the younger host. That's us.